All right, welcome to our Healthy Home Health Chat. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And if you're listening into the recording, thanks so much for taking the time to hear more about our passion of sharing with others how to create a healthy environment for you and your family. So we hope you enjoy, and we hope this gives you some empowerment. Some of the things you'll hear tonight, hopefully you don't take it as, you've been doing things wrong. It's just really about education and empowering families to make small steps to a healthier and happier family. So we'll dive right in. So I'm Rachel Tabor, and Mackenzie Nichols is also on the line, and the two of us will be sharing tonight. I'm going to give you a little bit of my background and why this is such a big passion of mine, and then we'll dive into the health chat. So my career before staying home with my son was teaching. I taught kindergarten, first and second grade over 5 years, and in the classroom, I learned a lot. Learned a lot about kids. Learned a lot about specifically, just looking carefully at kids' nutrition and how it affected their learning, and then also looking at the environment and how chemicals in the environment in the classroom really affected them. And so that was kind of where this passion stemmed from, was really seeing some big differences in my kiddos. Especially my last 2 years of teaching in kindergarten, when I started introducing green cleaners into my classroom, just really seeing a dramatic difference. And I'll get into that a little bit more later, but that's really where this passion stems from. And now I just enjoy educating other families about really the dangers of toxins in our home and how we can create the healthiest environment for our family. And you can see my son right there. He's definitely a big motivator for me to kind of spread the word, because the more we can spread this movement, the better, healthier our kiddos will grow up to be, and then they'll pass that along. So it really is a ripple effect.
So hi everybody, my name is Mackenzie, and like Rachel, I am also a former teacher. So I love the education piece as well, and I also have a huge heart for kids and health in general as well. So I really, I grew up using all of the normal cleaners, the Windex, the Pledge, all of the regular cleaners that you think of. And I always knew and heard, like, they're not good for you, they're toxic, but I didn't really understand, like, what that truly meant. When you ingest or inhale cleaners, a lot of times you don't feel the effects right away. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But for me, it was really hard to understand that something that I couldn't see or really feel right away, it was hard for me to understand that how that really affected my health. My health journey started about 5 years ago, and I really started taking a look at how I was treating my body and taking care of myself. And I changed my diet, I changed the way I was moving my body. And the last piece to my puzzle was really thinking about what I was putting on my body and the things I was using around my body. And so I really started educating myself, and the more I found out, the more, things made sense of why, I was having headaches, and why I had some hormone imbalances, and why I would break out in hives and skin rashes if I used certain detergents. So that really started my, brain and all my curiosity to really dive in and research more. So now my passion is to help educate others about making healthier choices, and just really helping people understand that it really does make a big difference. So like Rachel said, we are here to encourage, support you. We're going to be going over some statistics, and again, these aren't to scare you. This is just educating all of us to be aware of what is going on, and we're going to go over some better options out there for you and your family as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump into some statistics to start off with. This isn't on the slide, but I just wanted to start with this, that over the past 50 years, we have been introduced to over 75,000 different chemicals in our environment. 75,000, that's a ton of chemicals. And majority of those chemicals have never been tested of the harmful effects that it can have on us. So we spend about 90% of our time indoors. That's a lot of time. That's most of our time. And 90% of all poisoning occurs at home. And quite a few of those poisonings are because of toxic cleaners. And also chemical pollutants have been found to be two to 5 times higher inside our homes versus outside, which a lot of times people think of like toxicity in our environment, like outside, like pollution, but we really don't think about all of the chemical pollutants that we have inside our homes. So long-term exposure to chemicals inside our homes can be really harmful to us and our families. We are constantly breathing it in, constantly coming into contact, whether it's dripping down when we squeeze the bottle or, whether our babies are crawling around on our hardwood floors that we just mopped with the chemicals, they're all around us. And all of our personal care and household cleaning products can and are a major cause of poisoning in children and sometimes adults too. And these are some pretty scary statistics, but really important to just be aware of again. So with all of these household cleaners and fumes and chemicals, all of our children are breathing those in. And there is a connection between developing asthma and we have seen those rates increase. 25 million suffer from asthma, and 1 in 10 school-age kids have asthma as well. So Rachel's actually going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute, of what she saw in the classroom. But again, just something to think about when you are using these cleaners.
Absolutely. So, mental health effects of for air pollutants. Respiratory irritations, you can imagine this eventually leading to the asthma that was Mackenzie was talking about. And then you can keep seeing, eye, nose, and throat irritation, different kinds of infections, headaches. I don't know about you, but I know when I walk down like a cleaning aisle at the grocery store, I try to avoid it at all costs. But it's like almost like an instant headache because all those chemicals are seeping through the plastic bottles, and it's really strong smell walking down that aisle, which is just crazy because you can imagine the effects if they're able to seep through plastic bottles, the effects that they're having on our body, and nausea. In addition to this, really thinking about how it affects our children in the classroom. So if they're constantly surrounded by, the Clorox wipes or the Lysol spray or whatever it may be, how that can have a really detrimental effect on their learning. And there's actually a study done where there's a classroom and they inconspicuously opened up a bleach bottle in the back of the classroom to try to see the effects on the kids. And it was pretty dramatic. Like instantly the kids were having a hard time focusing and having a hard time, writing as well or doing the activity as well as they had previously been doing. And then they closed the bottle again, were able to get the air cleared out, and then the kids were able to, they saw a dramatic difference in the kids' focus once that was taken out of their environment. So pretty phenomenal as far as, the effects on our kiddos' learning as well. And I saw this personally in my classroom with switching over to green cleaners. When I personally only use green cleaners. I know the janitors at night were using something different, but I only, use green cleaners. And then when the kids were helping clean, again, they were only using green cleaners, and saw a pretty dramatic increase in testing scores compared to the other kindergarten classrooms. And I really felt like that was a big a big piece of that was just simply honestly taking out the chemicals from their environment and giving them the best opportunity to learn. So what you can do about indoor air pollution. So here are some different practices in order to try to make our homes and our environments as safe as possible. Making sure you're using products safely, using appliances properly, or if you do have those chemicals in your home, select building materials and furniture carefully, practice good housekeeping, provide adequate ventilation, so open those windows, try to get air through. Have house plants to try to help with that as well. Eliminate the use of toxic chemicals in the home and opt for natural substitutes, which is why we're here tonight. And then again, plants are such a great way to naturally filter the air and provide shade as well. So let's think about what is under your sink right now. These are some of the main ones that almost everyone has under their sink. If these are the most popular things on the market. Bleach is very popular. Most people think that in order to disinfect, they have to use bleach. It's the most common, most frequently involved in household poisonings as well. Degreasers, they contain petroleum, which can damage lung tissues and dissolve fatty tissue around nerve cells. You can keep reading those. Bus cleaners, ammonia can be a big irritant. Oven cleaners and toilet bowl cleaners. Again, the damage to our skin and eyes and all those things, can be immediate. They can be long term. You may develop rashes and not know where it came from, and a lot of times that goes back to the cleaning products. And just, I think at the end of the day, knowing that there's another option, knowing that we don't have to expose our family to these chemicals in order to have a clean home is the most important point I hope you take away with tonight. So some harmful ingredients to look out for: sodium hydroxide, hydrochloric acid, and butyl salysols. I'm sorry if I can pronounce those. These are three big ones that can be really harmful to our families. You can kind of see what they're found in basically all the cleaners that you may have under your sink.
Okay, so we just went over a lot of really long names that are really hard to pronounce, and honestly, it's really overwhelming when we are looking at cleaners and what should not be in there. So when I came across Shaklee, I was honestly very relieved that I found something that I can not have to look at every single ingredient. I know that it is as safe as it can possibly be. It's pure, it's non-toxic, and I don't have to, look at every single ingredient like I used to with every cleaner. So we're going to dive into a healthier option that Shaklee has. So all of Shaklee's cleaners are non-toxic, they're natural, they don't contain any of the harmful ingredients which you see listed below. A lot of them we can't even pronounce. But again, just so we don't have to even think about the harmful chemicals in our cleaners, it is already done for us, thanks to Shaklee. So always safe, always work, and always green. A really big, important piece for me finding a green cleaner was that it actually worked. There's such a stigma out there that green cleaners aren't powerful enough, they don't work because they're green and they don't have those chemicals that actually do the job. And that could not be further from the truth when it comes to these Shaklee products. So they are sustainable ingredients from natural sources. They have recyclable packaging, recyclable wipes, recyclable dryer sheets, which we'll get into a few facts about how much waste we use when it comes to cleaning products. It's pretty amazing, and how Shaklee has helped contribute to the environment. So no chlorine or bleach, which Rachel just talked a little bit about the chlorine and the harmful effects of that. And no phosphates, no nitrates, no borates. The volatile organic compounds, which when I think of those, I think of like paint and the smell of paint right away. So very toxic if they contain those VOCs. So it's really nice to know that those are not in there. And then of course, Shaklee doesn't do any of their testing on animals. So for those of you who haven't heard of Shaklee, I'm going to quickly just touch the surface of what Shaklee is and what it's all about. So Shaklee's been around for about 100 years. Dr. Shaklee created the first multivitamin in 1915. And he also, 50 years ago, created the world's first plant-based protein. So a lot of history, a lot of integrity with the company, and a lot of innovations, study, research, which we're going to dive into just a minute, that goes into all of these amazing products that they have. So Dr. Shaklee, you can see, is in the picture on the left. He's the founder of Shaklee and created the Shaklee Corporation because he really saw the value in sharing these green, safe products with people. And then Roger Burnett is the CEO, the visionary of Shaklee today, the head of the Shaklee Corporation. And what's really important is Dr. Shaklee, the founder, had a vision that everything that he created, all of the products are in harmony with nature. And Roger Burnett really has carried on that value and vision for Shaklee, that every single thing that Shaklee has is as close to nature as it can possibly be. So let's talk a little bit about the purity and safety and how these products are beyond organic. So organic really means that it just shows that it just shows how things are grown and farmed. That's what organic means. It doesn't ensure that the product is organic from the second it's grown to the delivery to the customer. So Shaklee makes sure that every single product that they have ensures that purity and potency throughout the entire process. They do this by doing over 100,000 quality tests per year. They screen for over 350 contaminants, pesticides, and impurities on every ingredient. And this is 3 times what the required amount is for every other company out there. So really, Shaklee goes above and beyond to make sure that everything is really pure and potent.
So let's dive a little bit into the research. Shaklee has over 120 published papers and scientific presentations and more than 17 patents and patents pending. And I love that slide that Mackenzie showed about really the history of Shaklee. You know, having 100 years in the wellness industry, Dr. Shaklee was coming up with different, you know, products along the years that were in harmony with nature. That was way before his time, way before organic was such a big thing, way before people were, you know, looking for green cleaners. So I feel really fortunate to have that history and longevity, as well as, you know, the strict expectations for purity and potency, and then all the research to back it up as well. So one of the biggest studies done, and this was done by UC Berkeley. So Shaklee did not have, you know, any participation in it other than, you know, wanting really to show the long-term effects. And so they went to UC Berkeley and, you know, wanted to demonstrate, okay, what is the long-term health benefits of being on Shaklee supplements in particular. And so UC Berkeley basically said, okay, we're going to publish these results that we find no matter what we discover. And Shaklee said, okay, great. And so there's 3 categories. There were the Shaklee users, people who took other supplements, and then people who took no supplements at all. And what this 20-year longitudinal study showed was the Shaklee category, the Shaklee group had remarkably lower indicators of overall health. As you can see, heart health, 33% lower levels of triglycerides, 11% lower cholesterol ratios, 36% lower levels of homocysteine, which is a key marker. That and the C-reactive protein, the last one, are really important for key markers for all kinds of different chronic diseases. So this is a really unique study, one of a kind that Shaklee has to offer and really show the benefits of the products being used long-term basis. And then what's most important is that the proof is in the people. So Shaklee has an incredible peer performance team, which is made up of athletes all around the U.S. That utilize, Olympic athletes that utilize Shaklee Nutrition. And for those of you who are aware, these athletes go through really strict testing, hundreds of thousands of tests within their career of being an Olympic athlete. And Shaklee athletes never have to worry about having any kind of contaminant in their products. And, they can trust that they're really getting optimal nutrition. So going a little bit onto the nutrition side, but, just having a great option for, again, going back to nature to rely on fueling our bodies the best, but also surrounding our bodies with the best products out there. Another fun fact is that Shaklee has been in space for, the last 25 years. So in the 90s, NASA came to Shaklee and wanted to partner to come up with a rehydration drink. And so Shaklee developed what is now known as Performance. And it's a little different as far as that the chemical makeup for the astronauts need a little bit different formula, but essentially the same thing. And Performance is in the sports nutrition line, really helps rehydrate athletes, really rehydrate anyone. I even use it on my kiddos to help them with the tummy bag or anything like that. But pretty neat that the accomplishments that Shaklee has had over the years as well. So it's safe, proven, 100% guarantee since 1956 when Shaklee Corporation was founded. One of the things I love is that Shaklee really stands behind all of their products and feeling a difference. And so 100% money back guarantee if you're unsatisfied for any reason with any of the products that you try. So let's dive into some of the Shaklee cleaners and go into like the cost effectiveness of switching to green cleaners, and then the safety aspect as well. So Basic H is by far one of my favorite products of all time. It literally replaces probably half of what is under, if not more, what is under your sink right now. So one bottle of Basic H, which is 16 ounces, is equivalent to almost 6,000 bottles of Windex. And you're probably thinking, how is that possible? How is that even possible that one bottle could equal that many bottles of cleaner? And Shaklee really believes in not sending you a bottle full of water. So a lot of cleaners out there have a small amount of the cleaning agent and then the rest is water, where Shaklee saw a big difference in concentrating all the cleaners so that you're just getting the concentrate, and then at home you can add the water yourself. You don't need to pay for Shaklee to send you that water. So you really only use a couple drops to up to a teaspoon per bottle. So you're using very, very little Basic H to create one bottle of either window or all-purpose or degreaser. And you can imagine how much this saves in the landfill or recycling as well. Not 6,000 bottles that you can save that is not going to either the landfill or parts of it being recycled is pretty incredible. You may be wondering, what is possibly in it to be able to clean? It's derived from corn and coconut, and natural surfactants are just as effective as chemical ones, meaning a lot of times people refer to Basic H as being wetter than water. And so basically it goes under meets the water and lifts up anything that you have on your countertops, or I use it to spray down my fruits and vegetables. Use it for all kinds of things, but it kind of goes underneath and lifts up whatever you're trying to clean up, and is super effective. So you can see the different concentrates. So there's all-purpose, window, and degreaser, and you can see how minimum you use. So 2 drops for the window cleaner for 16 ounces of water, less than 1 cent per bottle. So in my opinion, you can't get cleaners this cheap anywhere. Using a concentrate like this is really the way to go. In the bathroom, so you may be wondering, okay, what about those tough jobs where you really need to disinfect? And Shaklee has an amazing disinfectant, Basic G, and also Germ-Off wipes. And the Germ-Off wipes are a little different than the rest of the Get Clean line. They are still extremely safe. They don't have all those odors, but there are a few chemical components to make it a disinfectant. It's absolutely impossible to get a disinfectant without some of the chemicals, and so this is a really great alternative where it's still safe, especially in the diluted form, and you're not getting all of those fumes into the air as well. You can also see that it is really effective in cleaning, and so 57% better than the 7th generation disinfecting wipes, and then 24% better than Lysol disinfecting wipes at soil removal. It kills 64 pathogens, which is astronomically more than a lot of the disinfectants that are on the market. So more effective and safer at the same time.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple more places where we typically use a lot of cleaners. So when we go to the kitchen, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, whether I'm, making my food or washing dishes, and I, wash my hands a lot. And when I'm doing dishes, of course, my hands get exposed to whatever I'm washing them with. And not only that, but before I found Shaklee, I could not do more than a few rounds of dishes with my hands per day because my hands would get so dry. So thankfully, Shaklee has some options that help prevent, one, all of the chemicals that are in a lot of hand washing cleaners like that, but also they have some really amazing hydrating benefits when you use the soap as well. So let's first talk about the dishwasher concentrate. So like Rachel mentioned before, like the Basic H, all of the cleaners are very highly concentrated, which means you don't have to use a lot of them. So why choose a natural chemical-free dishwasher option? This to me was really, it didn't really make sense. It wasn't touching my skin. Why does it matter? And when you wash your dishes, whether you can see it or not, there is a film that is left over. And when you get those dishes out and you put your food on the plates, a lot of times those leftover chemical residues get into your food or soak into your hands. And so, things that you don't think about, they're there. And so Shaklee has an amazing dishwasher concentrate that doesn't have that chemical residue and will leave your plates not only clean, but also chemical free. So they're free of chlorine, bleach, which is found in almost every other cleaner out there, and so many other powders. And it's very powerful and it works. Next one, the hand dishwash. This is a concentrate as well. So there's one specifically to wash your dishes, which again, you only need a few drops. I don't know about you guys, but I've tried a few of the natural green cleaners, and I swear I have to use a quarter of the bottle for it to even get studs on my dishes. But this is not the case. All I need is a drop or two, and there's studs galore and really easy to clean your dishes. On the right-hand side, what I was talking about before is when you wash your hands a lot, your hands get really dry. So it has moisturizing components to it, wheat germ oil and algae extract help with that. And then it also soothes with aloe marshmallow, linden flower. Again, I love hearing all these names because that means nature to me, and all these products are as close to nature as they can possibly get. And then also it has rosemary in there, which helps energize, and also rosemary just has a lot of really good healthy benefits as well. So let's talk about the laundry room. Um, this is very near to my heart because I am allergic to almost every single laundry detergent out there, and it's because, again, when you wash something, it leaves a residue on your clothes, and when you put it on your skin is the largest organ and soaks up those leftover chemicals. And it takes less than a minute for those chemicals to get soaked into your skin directly into your bloodstream, which can cause an array of, issues, problems, causing your body to basically attack those chemicals who are trying to invade your body. So that's what happened to me. And I would break out into hives. I would get a really bad rash anytime I would use any of the laundry detergents. And what's interesting is because most businesses don't want to expose what their products are made of, because it's like a secret of what their product is, so people can't clone it. They're not required to put all the ingredients on the label, especially when it comes to fragrance. That could include, up to 10, 20 different chemicals, but they don't have to add that to the box. So Shaklee has a fresh laundry concentrate. Again, it's very highly concentrated, so you don't need to use a lot of it. It's compatible with high efficient washing machines. And the amazing part is that it works so much better than any of the other laundry detergents that I have used. It removes stains. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with OxiClean, and I'm sure a lot of you have used it. It's more effective than OxiClean, minus all of those harsh chemicals for stain removers, which is so fantastic. And then it's also hyperallergenic, which is great if you're sensitive like me with skin issues. And again, it's a non-chlorinated formula. Nature Bright is something that I recently just became obsessed with. So this is great for stain removing. So if you have, messy kids, or maybe a messy husband, or kids who play sports and have grass stains, this is a really great option to add into the washer to help get all of those stains out. It's also great to add to your loads when you do whites. It helps brighten those and get them extra bright to where you first got them. Also biodegradable. It doesn't contain any phosphates, which most companies out there include those phosphates, which are really detrimental when we consume them. And then they also have dryer sheets, which are really nice to help reduce wrinkles and control the static. Last thing we're going to talk about is water. So hopefully everybody's drinking lots of water, but this is one thing that we consume constantly throughout the day. We all need it to survive. And so when we consume our water, we want it to be as pure as it possibly can. So how safe is our water? So the truth is, there's a lot of chemicals that can be found in water that are really harmful. Things like pesticides, heavy metals, industrial pollutants, and they can all add up into our body and cause a lot of things, a lot of ailments to come forth. So Shaklee has a Get Clean Water pitcher, which helps filter out all of those contaminants found in our water. At the bottom, there's a bolded line that says 20% of human lead exposure comes from drinking water. So Shaklee is one of the only water filters to filter lead. And I'm sure all of you have heard about the issue in Flint, Michigan, where they had extremely high levels of lead. And Shaklee sent their Get Clean Water pitchers to Flint, Michigan to help filter some of that lead for families and kids to get safe, pure, clean water. So really, really important that a lot of times we don't think about. So very effective. It filters up to 80 gallons, which is more than 5,000 glasses of water. So it's not like you have to change it, constantly. It lasts quite a while. It reduces up to 99% of lead, which again, most pitchers don't do filter lead at all. And then it has a refillable carbon block pitcher filter system, which is specifically designed to reduce environmental waste and help keep our planet green, just like all of the other green products that we have in Shaklee.
So how can we get started with the clean line? Shaklee has a really amazing kit, a Fit Clean Starter Kit, where you basically can replace all the cleaners in your home with just one kit. And it's super cost effective. It is $99 and includes free membership, free shipping for this month to help celebrate Earth Day. And then this month we're also offering a free gift as well, in hopes of really helping as many families as we can switch over to green cleaners. And the amount that you would spend at the grocery store to get the same amount of clean that could be found in this Get Clean Kit would be over $3,400. So it's pretty amazing what buying concentrated cleaners can do as far as how long they last for. And then just, again, going back to the safety part as well, how safe they are for you and your family. I want to share a quick story to end tonight. One of my girlfriends who I've met through Shaklee and I've just absolutely adore, she lives out in South Carolina, and she has a really incredible story surrounding these specific green cleaners. Her and her husband tried for 7 years to get pregnant. They went through all kinds of fertility treatments, and she was really ready to almost give up when she a friend approached her about Shaklee Green Cleaners and started talking about some of the specific chemicals that can be tied to infertility. Phthalates are a really big one. Phthalates are what basically a lot of times helps give the fragrance. So for example, dryer sheets. Everyone loves that clean smell of dryer sheets. Well, the phthalate chemical in the dryer sheets is what keeps that smell on there and then onto your clothes. It isn't a natural smell, so to speak, and that can be really detrimental. So she began switching her cleaners and changing her, nutrition, Shaklee nutrition a little bit. And lo and behold, they were able to get pregnant. And I can't say that okay, switching is going to make all these things better, but at the same time, her story just, I guess, really shows the impact that cleaners can make. Mackenzie said, we don't really notice necessarily the effects of chemicals in our home. We may not get those skin irritations, we may not feel anything, but there's been a lot of rises in the United States as far as asthma, as far as autism, as far as infertility, and a lot of this, in our opinion, has come over the last few decades where more and more of these chemicals have been released into the public hands. And so the correlation is pretty strong as far as, the chemicals that are in our world today and all of the ailments we're facing, honestly. And so, really thinking about what we can do for us and our families to just get rid of them and start fresh and really feel the difference of getting them out of your home and being able to breathe easier and just enjoy green cleaning products that you don't have to worry about. So we're going to end there tonight. Thank you again so much for joining us, and thank you for listening on. Make sure to contact the person who invited you for more information on switching out your cleaners. It's a really amazing deal this month with celebrating Earth Day. But thank you again, and let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks everybody for joining us.